Okay, so let's talk about suppressing components using tables in Excel. This is a very popular thing to do if you're dealing with like overloaded bill of materials where you have a bunch of options in your assembly as a starting point and you want to suppress things using, for example, another list of data, or you want to compute the difference of what should be removed and what should stay based on a bill of materials from another system. And then, for example, export that out as a step file or something. So it's a common operation. The delete function kind of goes along the same lines for this type of thing, but we're going to be demonstrating suppress today. Both of them have a lot of the same issues. So what we're going to do is we're going to look up what the requirements are. So we'll look up the command. And in this particular case, we're going to be using the table model suppress, which requires the table as an input. So the columns it requires is item name and target model. And you can note there that because they have little stars next to them, we could put wildcards in there too. So I'm going to put an item name, and I'm going to put in TGT MODL. And then we're going to just do a Control T to create a table out of those two fields. And we're going to give this a name, my table. And what this needs is the item name is really like, what are you working with as the starting point? So in this particular case, we're going to say speaker.asm. It doesn't have to be the active model. It can be just in memory, and I'll demonstrate that here in a second. So we have that, and then let's say the target model on this is going to be this part right here. So we'll say gasket.prt, and we'll do the same thing. We'll add another record, and let's get rid of the screw.prt. So this is a generic thing. So it's going to look for the name of that match within the assembly that's here, and it's going to delete it or suppress it in this case. So for screw, we have more than one instance of that occurring, so it's going to hit every instance that's out there. So to reference that, we're going to put in a TBL colon my table, and then I'm just going to do a regenerate to force Creo to kind of update after I run this. So I'm going to run this, and you can see here that it has updated that. Now you're probably wondering, why isn't that reflecting in the Creo model tree? Well, for some reason, when you execute a regenerate via the APIs, it doesn't update the graphics. So a simple Control G will update to show you kind of what the current status is visually. So that was easy. Let's take a look at maybe extending this a little bit. Now, we did say that we could do wildcards. So if we wanted to come in and say, you know, something, I'm not going to worry about that specific part, but I am worried about everything that has the word plate in it, and I want to get rid of those or suppress them. So we're going to run this again, and you'll notice that, wait a minute, some of the parts that were in the middle there kind of went away also. So if we look here, our magnet, like if I resume these things, our magnet, we had a plate here and we had a plate here, but this went away also. The reason that that went away is because we have a dependent relationship in the geometry. So if you suppress something using a wildcard, you have to be conscious about the fact that it's also going to automatically suppress any children associated with that. So if I run this again, you'll notice that it has suppressed those child relationships. So the backplate was actually a child of this also. So the mere fact that it did that, it just took care of it on its own. So that's basically how the function works. And you can also do this for things that are in session too. So for example, if I erase memory, and let's open up our speaker assembly, and then I'm going to quit window, but leave it in session. And we run this same process here. And then I open up what's in session. We should see, in fact, it still suppressed that information that we asked to according to the table.